Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the prelim fights for UFC 239, Jones versus Santos. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card and the first fight that I'll be predicting. So in our first fight, we have in the women's bantamweight division, Julia Avila versus Pani Kianzad. So looking at this fight, Avila is a solid fighter. She has a impressive skill set, solid grappler, a lot of power, physically strong. But she doesn't really have the most experience, only with a 5-1 record versus Pani Kianzad, who has more than twice as many fights as she has, and that's not even including her tough run, which she ended up being the season runner-up. So she really doesn't have as much experience. And as far as competition-wise, she hasn't fought the same level of competition. Especially, you might say, oh, she beat Nico Montano and this person, that person. But she beat Nico Montano before she became champion, like, 4 or 5 years ago? So it's been a minute. So she hasn't really fought that level of competition. Whereas Pani Kianzad has been fighting the best competition for a good number of years now. And like I said, has double the experience. And I feel like with that experience, her well-rounded skill set, like she has good striking. She's amazing in the grappling. I'm not saying she's super phenomenal in grappling, but she can hold her own. And like I said, with that experience and that well-rounded skill set, I think she can really match Avila everywhere and get that edge over her in every department, whether it be the striking or the grappling. She can do that, just that extra amount, or just that thing in the right position, the right control. That will edge the fight. I think it'll be a close fight. It'll be more so the experience of Kianzad versus the talent of Avila. But I think more so the experience is going to be the biggest factor in this fight. So in this fight, I got Pani Kianzad via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, Ismail Naurdiev versus Chance Rencountre. So looking at this fight, Ismail Naurdiev is just a better fighter from the jump. Chance Rencountre is a solid fighter, underrated, long, some decent underrated striking, has some like sneaky power. He's very good at like submissions and grappling. He's like very savvy there, so he can catch you a lot of different areas if you sleep on him. He's a very dangerous guy. But I think Ismail Naurdiev's style just plays more to plays better in between these two. He's too mobile, too agile. He's very good at creating angles, moving, landing big shots, getting away, get in and get out. And then on the ground, he might not be the best submission artist himself, might be the best grappler between these two. But his scrambling ability will allow him to get out of these bad situations, get back to his feet, and really make his opponents work a lot for a little bit of nothing, because he can scramble very well. So I think in this fight, even if it goes to the ground, I think his scrambling ability is just too good. He'll get back to the feet. I think he's so good at picking the angel. Creating angles and landing shots, getting in and getting out, landing the shots. I think he'll throw more volume, landing more shots, be at an angle, make Rencountre miss, and really make it a frustrating night for him. I think after the first 2 rounds of outscoring him and landing big shots, I think he eventually puts Rencountre away in the third. So in this fight, I have Ismail Naurdiev via 3rd round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the middleweight division, Edmund Shahbazyan versus Jack Marshman. So Jack Marshman, I forgot who he fought in the last fight, but he barely won that. Matter of fact, he didn't win that fight in my opinion. I think he might have landed more shots, but a lot of those shots were really just touching or just pushing shots, whereas the other guy was landing concussive shots on him, was hurting him and rocking him. He barely really did anything. But he still managed to get away with the fight. And it wasn't really against a high-level opponent. I think that guy doesn't even have a win inside the UFC, or at least I don't think he got a win in UFC. He barely beat that guy. Now looking at Edmund Shahbazyan, I'm not the most impressed by Edmund Shahbazyan, but I definitely can see the talent in his youth and where he can go. And even though his talent and his skill set isn't where I see he can potentially go, he still has that it factor about him, right? Kind of with him, like he just finds ways to win in impressive fashion. Might be the most technical from start to finish, just destroying his picking his opponent down and just disintegrating them. But he does find ways to win in fights, and like he shows his talent, his ability to finish fights, his ability to take advantage of situations, and he wins fights. So he's a winner for sure. I think in this fight, I think Shahbazyan's talent is too much. I think his size is too much. And I think he could beat Shahbazyan everywhere. I think he's a much better grappler. I say he could beat him he could beat Marshman every single way. He could beat him in the striking. He could beat him in the grappling. Like really, he can easily, if you get him down, he could submit him like in a minute. He is grappling much better, striking much better. He's the rangier fighter, the fast fighter, the more physical fighter. I think Edmund Shahbazyan beats Marshman everywhere. I think on the feet, he just picks him apart on the feet. I think he's hurts him in the second round and submits him. So in this fight, I got Edmund Shahbazyan via 2nd round submission. Now on to our next fight we have in the bantamweight division, Alejandro Perez versus Yadong Song. So look at this fight. This is really actually kind of a good chance for Alejandro Perez to get back on the winning side of things. because Yadong Song really doesn't have the most experience. He's a very solid fighter, a lot of power, good striking, good boxing, good timing, very physically strong. Might not be the best grappler, but his physical strength allows him to get in the advantage in a lot of these positions, and he wants to keep it more so on the feet and land those big shots, like use that boxing, land that timing. And that's really where his kind of style goes. But like I said, it's like not really the most experienced right now. He needs experience, and Perez has that experience. And Perez in his last fight, he lost. That's probably the most impressive performance from Perez I've ever seen, from winning or losing. The most impressive performance I've seen from Perez. He fought Cody Stamann, a wrestler. I don't think Stamann even really got a legit takedown. He might got a takedown where he kind of just hold on the legs with no control. But Perez in that fight was one who really got the takedown. He got the big slam in that fight. He had the control on the ground when he took it down. I think Stamann, when he got him down, whether he got him down multiple times or didn't, it was more so just holding on for dear life, and then Perez would just pop back up. But when Perez took him down, he slammed him like a WWE slammed him style, had control, and Stamann struggled to get up. And on the feet, he was picking Stamann apart, but they kind of just gave it to Stamann maybe for purely work rate. But as far as actual efficiency and effectiveness, Perez was really won that fight all around. And that was against a solid wrestler, gritty wrestler. He was beating him in every area. So it was really a good performance for Perez in the last fight. Showed a lot of growth in that fight. And that was a guy that really has no wrestling background at all. And he did that against a guy with a heavy, extensive wrestling background. So impressive performance for Perez in that last fight. But I'm still not going to lean to him in this fight. I think that was an impressive performance from him in his last fight. But I think that the power of Yadong Song is going to be too much in the boxing of Yadong Song. Like Perez showed some good striking in that fight, but Yadong Song boxing still better. I think grappling-wise, Yadong Song is not going to really be trying to grapple with Perez. He's more so going to want to be boxing with him. And Perez typically more so strikes. So it's going to be a striking matchup, and I feel Yadong Song is the better striker. Perez really doesn't initiate grappling unless somebody kind of, like in the last fight, Stamann was trying to wrestle with him so much that Perez had to respond to that. But he's not typically the guy that's going to grapple with you too much. He's not going to be initiated unless somebody else makes it like initiated, and he's going to be kind of a responsive type of wrestler. Or his wrestling comes as a response. So it's going to be more so a striking match. Like I said, Yadong Song is a better boxer, has more power. Perez does have some volume to him at times, or just very good at landing a couple shots and just marginally beating people. But like Yadong Song is not going to really be playing that game, landing those big shots, getting on the inside, and not allow Perez to play his style. I think it's going to be a good, competitive, close fight. But I think the significant heavy shots of Yadong Song is going to edge the fight for him. So in this fight, I have Yadong Song via decision. Now on to our next fight we have in the women's strawweight division, Claudia Gadelha versus Randa Markos. So looking at this fight, you got two veterans of this weight class. This weight class has only been around for so long, 3-4 years, probably less. These are two veterans of this weight class. You got Claudia Gadelha, who was the former number 2, now kind of fell back. Got Randa Markos, who's always kind of been Randa Markos. She's kind of been in this position, up and down, gritty, grindy. Never looked the most pretty with technique. Kind of had one overhand right here and there with her striking. She's relentless with her wrestling, relentless with her pressure. And she can beat a lot of people, and she can lose a lot of people. But she got a couple good performances. I think her last fight was like a first-round stoppage with Angela Hill. I think she dropped her, didn't submit her. So a real impressive performance from her. But looking at this fight, Gadelha beats her everywhere, except maybe work rate and cardio. But Gadelha is a stronger fighter. Gadelha is the better striker, more power in her punches, way higher pedigree of grappling. Well, maybe Markos' wrestling is better, but Gadelha jiu-jitsu is better, and I don't think Randa Markos' wrestling is that much better than Gadelha's wrestling. But I think the jiu-jitsu is there's a much bigger gap in that area, and mostly the areas that Gadelha has advantage in are all the areas really, except for like 1 or 2-ish areas. Gadelha has a much bigger gap with her advantage than Markos has with her few advantages. I think this fight, Claudia Gadelha is able to outstrike her on the feet, get some takedowns there and there to put some icing on those rounds. I think Randa Markos is she's a gritty fighter and stuff, so she's not going to really give up no submissions to Gadelha in this fight. She's not going to make it easy for her. She's going to make Gadelha work. I think she might still round in there, maybe probably the last round, because Gadelha, like her questionable gas tank, probably going to slow down that third round, which will give Randa Markos a chance to turn the fight around and potentially make this fight a real close and tough fight. But I think Gadelha's going to do enough in those first 2 rounds to create a wide enough gap that she still will win the fight, even though she might not have the best third round. Might lose it big, or might lose it close. But I think those first 2 rounds are going to edge the fight for her, so that in third round she can coast through, or at least not coast through, but those first 2 rounds will edge the fight for her, basically. So in this fight, I have Claudia Gadelha via decision. Now to our co-prelim headliner we have in the bantamweight division, Marlon Vera versus Noeline Hernandez. So looking at this fight, no, Helene Hernandez has a lot of potential, a lot of talent, but I think the fight's too short notice. Marlon Vera is too versed, and I think style-wise, Marlon Vera is a pretty tough matchup for Hernandez because Vera has underrated grappling. He's a long, lanky striker, kind of Hernandez, kind of a long or slender type of striker. And Vera is the more experienced, the more talented striker currently at the moment. Like I said, short notice. Don't really have a lot of time for Hernandez to prepare, get up to this level. He's gonna bring. I think he's gonna bring a game fight. He's not coming in to get laid out. He's gonna go in there and probably put one of those sneaky good performances on, but it's not gonna be enough because it's too short of a time. And his skills set really hasn't got enough time to evolve in this bit of time. But he's gonna put on a respectful performance. It's gonna be real close. But I think Vera's experience, his skills where they at currently, and the inexperience of Hernandez still trying to build himself up, is gonna really lead the fight for Marlon Vera. I think he wins this fight in a very close decision. So in this fight, I have Marlon Vera via decision. Now to our prelim headliner we have in the featherweight division, Gilbert Melendez versus Arnold Allen. So this is a real interesting fight right here. Not for the fact that this fight's gonna be so good or so great or anything like that, but maybe it will be. Maybe I'm reverse jinxing and maybe I'm jinxing this fight, but it is interesting for the fact that Arnold Allen, kind of style-wise, is a good style matchup for Gilbert Melendez. It gives him potentially his best chance to come back and reinvigorate his career. Arnold Allen has some steam behind him. I think he's undefeated, a nice prospect from the UK scene, solid striker, some decent grappling, and that's what Gilbert Melendez was known for: solid boxing and grappling. So in reality, you look at when Gilbert Melendez was at his best, he's far better than any version of Arnold Allen. When Gilbert Melendez was at his best, his boxing was much better. His jiu-jitsu was a whole lot better, like a whole lot better. He had some of the best jiu-jitsu in all of MMA history. So when he was at his best, so you look at style, Arnold Allen's like a weaker version of what Gilbert Melendez used to be. Because Gilbert Melendez, in some people's eyes, was the best lightweight for many years, but he kind of started to, fall off, and that's where he's at now. Hasn't been active in a while. I think he's like on a 3 or 4 fight losing streak. I don't know why he hasn't retired yet, but I guess he still has the hunger in him some bit. But really, in this fight, I'm leaning to Arnold Allen because, he's been active. He's been looking good. He's been improving. He had one fight where he had to kind of have a poor performance and had to pull out a last-second submission. And then the next fight, he just fought a wrestler and I don't think he even gave up a takedown, picked him apart of the feet, and then stopped him late. And he showed his full skill set. He just showed his ability to improve from one fight to the next. He saw that he had an issue with his wrestling in the one fight. In the next fight, he just had a huge jump and filled that hole just that quick. And with Gilbert Melendez, it's he's still there. He still has those skills, but are they as sharp? His skills, have they dulled so much? I don't. And being on a losing streak, the confidence, the age-wise, it's kind of hard to really pick Gilbert Melendez. But one path to victory, or one good thing in this fight for Gilbert Melendez is the fact that a lot of these fights he lost to people who have good kicks, or especially attacking that lead leg. Given that Gilbert Melendez plants so heavily on that lead leg so he can put power on his punches, that's an issue for him. A lot of these fighters will attack the leg, like Jeremy Stevens has heavy leg kicks. Edson Barboza, obviously heavy leg kicks. Perez, not as much. I mean, he obviously have heavy leg kicks, but he doesn't attack the leg as much. But he will attack the body, and that's can get Gilbert Melendez off the game, like those kicks. But Arnold Allen, more of a puncher. He doesn't throw many kicks. He's more of a puncher, and that kind of gives opportunity for Gilbert Melendez. But I don't think that slim opportunity, or just the fact, just because he's not going to throw enough kicks, it's going to change the whole complexion of Gilbert Melendez's past couple years in MMA. I don't think it's going to change much of anything too much, but it's going to allow Gilbert Melendez to be in the fight, going to allow him to be more competitive, because it's not going to take away his lead leg, which is going to allow him to put more power in his punches. But to conclude this prediction, I think Gilbert Melendez has all the skills. He certainly, at his best, was far better than Arnold Allen is right now, and probably will ever be. But I think it's going to come down to the freshness of Arnold Allen, the momentum of Arnold Allen. He's on a good winning streak right now, undefeated. He's younger, he's fresher, he can work at a higher pace that Gilbert Melendez can't. Gilbert Melendez's body's much more broken down from fighting all these years. And I think he can just push a higher pace and maintain that higher pace. I think Gilbert Melendez will probably put up one of his best performances yet, but I don't think it's going to be enough. But Gilbert Melendez is a good bet potentially, because given how these fighters match up and how similar they are, which gives Gilbert Melendez the opportunity. But it's just I think his best days are behind him. So in this fight, I'm going with Arnold Allen via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions for the prelims of UFC 239, Jones versus Santos. And as always, thanks for watching.